There you go. You can do it too. That's great. You got it.
Very catchy.
Isn't it awesome? Yeah, of course. It's the only kind we do here is catch E. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first June edition of Topic Time with Harrison Young in 2017, June 7th. It's actually kind of nice out there right now. It took a while. The weather has not been really cooperative of late, but today it started cold. Now it's warming up, and as usual, we are heating things up in here tonight with a couple of really hot Daredevil dude guests, a couple of filmmakers. You guys may remember a couple of years ago I had Pedro Pimentel and Jacob Giannis on as guests. Well, these two are kind of like their partners in crime. This is, well, the two Jonathans, Jonathan Cohen.
Olson.
So Olson, I'm sorry. Why did I say Cohen? I knew there was a O in there somewhere.
Yes.
and let me get yours, Geddis.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was a little faux pas. Well, but there are the graphics. You can read them. And my bad. I'm thinking, I don't know why I'm thinking Cohen. I don't know. I've got a lot of friends named Cohen. All right, but nice to meet you guys. We finally had a chance to get you in here. And you're just coming off of a really cool project that you did recently that I saw the trailer of.
Yes.
And we're going to talk all about that like we always do. But first, I want to go back in time because I do this with every guest. I want to find out how you guys came to be, filmmakers and all that stuff, and where you grew up and went to school and all that,
Right.
And well, we'll start with you, and if you want to, and then we'll work our way. You guys are good friends, so you can converse together. But all right, I invited you on first, so tell me about what life was like as a kid. You guys don't look either. Both of you look kind of still rather young, like in your 20s.
Yes.
I'm guessing. Yeah. So where did you grow up, Jonathan?
Well, I grew up in New Hampshire.
Yep. Okay.
Throughout the Lakes region area, and then when I was around 11 years old, one of my close friends and I started making some videos together just for fun.
Cool.
Nothing worth showing of today's standard, but at the same time, we just had some fun inspiration and imagination to work with. And later on down the road, I decided I kind of wanted to take a little bit more serious route with it, and kept going forward with it until I decided to go to college.
Okay, where was that?
I went to Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida.
What was it called? Folsom?
Full Sail.
Oh, Full Sail.
Yes.
Cool. Like the
Yes.
name of that. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a university technically in Winter Park, Florida.
Okay.
And I graduated there 3 years ago in 2014 in the bachelor's in film.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, between the time you started with your friend and when you were 11, did you create anything? What about high school? What did you do? What about there?
Well, throughout high school, I made a lot of fun films together with some friends of mine for YouTube, but nothing that would probably be as notable today. It just kind of got me more inspired to keep going.
I understand, but but it's still. I like to find out. I like to find out what kind of pieced it together. So, what kind of films were they? Were they fiction? Were they?
Oh, they were
documentary, a little bit both, science fiction, drawing, humor, comedy.
They were mostly fiction comedies.
Okay.
Yes. We had a lot of fun with making a lot of different randomized comedies with a bunch of improvised humor, so it's a lot of fun to work with.
Now, did you guys grow up together?
Not really, no.
We grew up, we met each other when we were 18.
Okay, you both from the. All right, so where did you grow up?
I grew up in Franklin, about 15
New Hampshire,
minutes.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Franklin, New Hampshire.
Jonathan Olson grew up in the White Mountain region. Is that it?
Lakes region.
Lake region.
Yes.
How far? I'm curious. Is that near the White Mountain region?
About 30, 40 minutes from there.
Okay, so it's not too far. It's sort of like Midland, New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's about the midway.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay, it's in the sticks. Are you familiar with Northfield?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There's a girl I interviewed there a few years ago named Erin Macy. Do you know her?
No,
She's an actress.
That's
come to mind. Sorry. No, I've done a lot of. I used to do in-home interviews, and I've gone up to New Hampshire a few times, and I've gone all over to do in-home. But that was when I did my show from the old station.
Right.
Okay. Because I was wondering, now being that you guys are filmmakers, I assume that you've got over the years you've accumulated a lot of actors for your projects. So where do you usually get them?
Well, a lot of them were word of mouth or connection based. We have held auditions for films that we've had, and that got a lot of different connections built up over time. And from that, we also were able to collaborate and meet other people too. So over the course of the past 3-4 years alone, I would say at least 500 people we've come in connection with.
500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least, yeah.
Okay. Wow. And now when you hold auditions, what do you give them the heads ups online basically?
Some of them are online through social media groups, and other ones are just basically word of mouth as well. Like we've held auditions at Red River Theaters in Concord, New Hampshire before.
Wow.
We did that for The Second Life this past year for a movie that Pedro directed.
Okay.
And just
you had Ron
that's
Young
of the
in that
ones.
one, right?
Yes, Ron Young's in that. He's actually in 3 of our films now.
Yeah, cool. No, Ron was a guest on my show, and he and I were in a film together in Rhode Island too.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He is. He's good. He's really awesome, and that's really cool that you guys went up there. And by the way, just so you know, I'm an actor too. So if you ever need a quirky middle-aged guy for any of your films,
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Are you guys familiar with Sarah Silverman, the comedian?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
From New Hampshire. She's my cousin.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
that's
met her
cool.
for the first time on April 28th. She was performing at the Wilbur Theater in Boston.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's, because you probably know she's from New Hampshire as well.
Yep.
From Bedford. And I'd love to get her on the show sometime. She said if she's ever back east and she has some time, maybe she'll hook up with me. But I may get some other famous comedian on. I'm not going to name him now, but if he's ever on, you'll see.
Okay.
And you probably know who he is too, which is, my show's. I'm getting very prominent guests, and I know that you guys, I can tell already how prominent you are. So how many films, with the 500 actors that you've accumulated in your rogues gallery of people, how many films do you think you've done since you started?
Oh boy.
And most of them are short. Have you done any, let me ask you this, any of them full-length features or just short ones?
Well, we've worked on a full-length feature before, but not out of our own independent sense. And then what I mean by that is, like, we weren't the director of that project.
I see, okay.
Yes.
When you say, but you co-directed it or helped with someone else?
We were on the crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you plan on doing anything major, like, full-length in the near future?
Actually, you want to take over for that one?
Yeah, so
ahead,
I'm
talk
actually
about that.
working with his mother right now, Brenda Olson, who
She's
is
a
a master
scriptwriter.
Oh,
scriptwriter.
really?
Yes.
Cool.
And we kind of went back and forth on a possible horror feature that we're going to be doing soon. We're going to be doing a teaser trailer, then hopefully get funding for that to do the feature.
Right.
But from here on, it seems to be as though everyone that we're working with is going to be doing some features in some type of way. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
we've all kind of, a lot of us have kind of...
Wait a minute. Talk about your mother. She's a scriptwriter?
Yes, she is.
And how long has she been doing that?
She's been doing it for about 4 years now.
Really?
Yes.
And so it sounds like she broke in after you did.
She actually, well, let me rephrase this.
Was she a scriptwriter when you were born, doing that, in that way?
No. Let me rephrase this.
Okay.
I've been working in the industry professionally for about 5 years now. However, I went to college only a year before that. So I
Okay.
started about midway through college. I started doing more work.
Okay.
She actually went to college prior to me to go back to get her master's degree.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
she went there and graduated the year I started.
Okay.
So
Same college you went to?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and she got her master's in script writing. Before that, she actually did a lot of other miscellaneous things, including paralegal work.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess script writing and paralegal work are similar. You both require writing.
Yes, and she loves writing. She's loved it for a very long time, and she's also a dancer too. So.
Cool. Wow. She's probably younger than me. I'm guessing.
I wouldn't know, actually. I'm not
You
sure.
know how old your mother is? Some women are funny about that. They don't-
She'd probably prefer if I didn't say that.
That's cool. No, I mean, it's funny, right, given their age. Some women don't like giving their age. I know. I don't know why, but that's, it's not something to be ashamed of.
Right.
You're either alive or you're dead. And you're going to have to be some age, the way I figure it, but that's me. All right, well, that's cool. Now, I'm just curious. As we're sitting here talking, I'm wondering why you picked that school in Florida of all schools.
Well, for what I was looking to do, I was looking for more hands-on material-based school, and that is a college that really does a very good job of getting you the right experience of being on a normal set for coming to the films. It's a 24-hour based school, so they'll take you right through the
24-hour
night.
base. I mean, you can work. You can have classes off.
I had some that start at 1 a.m.
Wow. I couldn't
So-
live. I couldn't stand. I couldn't
No,
have being
they
awake
call
at
it
that hour for class.
real-world learning or education, I should say. So they basically their
Sounds like a
motto-
military school more than a college.
You could say that, but
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's based around the program, and the film program is what I was studying. So
Okay.
they kind of just went off the clock no matter what day it was. They
Right.
went through the week, and I only got, I think, 3 or 4 weeks off every year from school. It was an accelerated course I
Wow.
took. So I got my bachelor's degree in 2 years.
Now, you guys both went to that school? Or you didn't
no,
know?
I went to
Oh, you
a,
told me you went to,
I went to a local community college.
which was?
Lakes Region Community College, so LRCC.
Okay.
Same thing, kind of a
Oh,
lot of
that's in
hands-on.
New Hampshire, though?
Yeah, that was up in
Okay.
the Lakes Region. Yep.
Okay.
We met when he was just starting college, and I was just starting college,
Okay.
actually. And we just started working on films together. We had like 2 or 3 under our belt, if not a few more, before we ended up kind of doing our own thing for a little bit. The only reason why we separated was just because I did move away to go to Florida.
Right.
When I came back home, though, we collaborated again, and
Okay.
since then I think we've worked on 10 or 11 films,
Yeah.
Wow.
something along those lines. And then we've made up a lot of connections, like I said, the 500 connections. But when I said that, it was not just actors, also like other cinematographers or filmmakers.
Oh, right,
in
right.
general,
Crew
yeah.
as well. It's
Yes,
cast,
crew.
I
A lot of
understand.
crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, have you presented your films at any festivals?
Many, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as far as where you filmed, has it just been New Hampshire or all over the country, or where
Well,
basically?
personally, I've filmed a lot of different things throughout the East Coast.
Okay.
Mostly the New England region, though,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
some things that are further down
I
south,
mean, the reason
too.
see, here's my thinking. Now, I mean, let's face it, guys, people from New Hampshire are considered country bumpkins, and that's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. But it leads me to wonder, like even Stephen King, who lives up in Maine, most of his stories take place in the sticks.
Right.
So I'm wondering, is that the case with you guys too for your films or not?
Maybe a few of them, but most of them take place in more
City area,
city areas. Yeah.
In the cities, okay.
For example, the film we just did was based in a hospital. Another film we did is a
noticed
period piece that takes place that has on fields in different areas too.
Okay.
It's not all wood related. Let me try to think of a few others. We have one that takes place in a laundromat, for example, too.
Okay, that's interesting. If Seinfeld did it, why can't you?
Pretty much.
You know, that's the opening episode. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You know, he said, George is looking at the slacks and saying, you know, Jerry, this is the dullest moment of my life. Yeah, I guess that's probably, I'm a big Seinfeld fan.
Yeah.
And Sarah was in one of the episodes, too, as you might have seen her, I don't know, 20 years ago.
I'm not sure which episode that was.
She was Kramer's girlfriend.
Okay.
In one of the, why not, right? Strange couple, but it seemed to work for that episode. Yeah. So all right, now let's break down the types of films that you do. Now, from the trailer I saw this morning, that looked kind of comical, but I mean, it looked like I saw what I think I saw was a doctor who looked like he was marching from from the lobby into an emergency room or the room.
You could assume that, I suppose.
Surgery room or whatever.
Basically, that was used as a teaser / as part of the introduction to the film, which almost like a little bit of an opening for itself for the entirety of it. But it's a comedy film. It's a mockumentary. Set up similar to what...
Wait a minute. You said comedy documentary?
Mockumentary.
Oh, mockumentary. Got it. Yep.
I guess you could say it's similar to film, TV shows such as like The Office or Parks and Recreation in that setting.
Yep.
But it does have more of a cinematic purpose. What I mean by that is it doesn't have like the zooming in and zooming out for a lot of the B-roll content. But
you have to understand, my terminology and knowledge of film terminology is limited. So So you're gonna have to. I might have to. If I ask you to explain what you're talking about, please do. But
well, I guess I just meant like they're more static-based shots than they are mobile shots in that sense.
Wait a minute, static is you mean like not moving?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Like the only moving shots we have in the film are on steady cams. Okay. So we have a stabilizer.
Well, isn't that all handled through editing though?
No.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know. I always thought. All right. Well, what does your budget look like for these films?
It depends on what we're going for the budget. We sometimes go through Kickstarter or other sources.
Right. You told me that before. Yeah.
It depends. Like this most recent one costs probably between $5,000 to $10,000, depending. So
really?
it's on the smaller side compared to some films, I guess. But
so you must do, and you do well. You do well at raising the Kickstarters and everything.
Yes, that one I didn't even raise a Kickstarter. I just went ahead with it right away. So.
Well, I know, but when you say, all right, go ahead with it, what did you mean by? What do you mean? Like, how do you go ahead with what? You mean you had the money to handle it anyway?
Yeah, well, I put aside a budget for the film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good budget for for a couple of young guys, like yourselves that are living in the sticks. Where did you shoot that? That was a real hospital, right?
Oh yes, it was a hospital called Havenwood Heritage Heights out of Concord, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And by a local connection as well from an actual actress. Her name's Sherry Collins.
Okay, I know Sherry.
Yes. Well,
I interviewed Sherry.
Oh, she's been on the show?
Oh, well, she's been on the show, but not in studio. I did an on-set interview with her up in Maine.
Oh, okay.
She does a lot of stuff in Maine. You may know Bill McLean?
Yes.
Okay, I interviewed him too. I did an in-home interview with him.
Wow.
September 14th, 2011. It was a Wednesday. It was like I have a photographic memory for dates. So like if you guys told me your dates of birth, I could tell you what days of the week you were born and what I was doing.
But that's awesome. But no, the only thing I was going to say was that
Sherry's
she
a great
told
actress.
me. Yes, she is. She's in the film too.
Yep.
She told me that the 4th floor is currently being vacant at the moment. There's not really much going on up there, and she got me in connection with the people in charge there, and I talked to them. We got the location set up, and within a couple of months after that, we started production. So.
Okay, wow. Yeah. So she was the in for the hospital. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay. Does she work at the hospital?
She does, actually.
Oh, she does. Okay, yeah. You know what you were doing. You got the edge up on that.
Well, I contacted another actor friend of ours named Anthony Gaudet.
I know of him. I don't think I know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's Sherry and him work together, and I contacted him, and that's how the connection all went down.
Okay. So. So are these people from New Hampshire that are in that film, or are some from Maine, or any?
There are some from other states, or Massachusetts and Maine.
Okay, that's
actually there's an actor from New York as well as
upstate New York or the city.
Upstate.
Upstate.
And then the first AD. Why am I saying second? The first AD, his name's Jonathan McMahon, and he's from Florida.
Oh, okay.
Another Jonathan. The three key positions were all Jonathan.
Yeah, the three Jonathans. That's great.
Spelled the same way too.
Yeah, I know Jonathan. Exactly. Wow. All right, so how much time do you spend, how long did it take you to shoot this film? It just came out, right?
Yeah, this one just premiered actually Monday night.
It
this
did?
Week, yeah.
So, all right, so let's talk about the procedure and the time it took you let's break it down as much as you can. And first of all, how long is the film? It's not a feature, it's not a
The film's 15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
And how long had you been shooting it for, putting it together?
I guess I could say the whole process. I wrote the script back in September of last year.
Oh, you wrote it yourself?
Yes, I wrote it myself.
Yep.
My mother proofreaded it since she's a scriptwriter too.
All right, yeah.
She made sure it was all accurate.
Sure.
And then over the course of about 5 months, we went through pre-production. I got the cast all locked in by December.
Okay.
Which, once again, we went through auditions in a similar manner.
Cool.
We did online auditions for that film, though.
Okay.
And after we had all the auditions and everyone set up, we made sure we got the props, the wardrobe all good to go. The location was locked in during this period of time, too.
Wow.
And then come March, we ended up shooting after, I think it was 2 or 3 table reads we had.
Yeah.
We started shooting. It was over a 3-day period. We
Okay.
had 1 day set up for setting up,
Okay.
and then another day that we had set up for breakdown. But we ended up not needing that day because, thanks to Jonathan McMahon, who was the first AD, he really was on top of scheduling. We ended up getting done early every day rather than going past the deadline, which usually on films like that, we go past the deadline. But no, we ended up getting it all done very early. It was wonderful.
That's awesome. So what did you figure in on all this? You co-produced it?
I was the cinematographer.
Okay.
So
John and I usually work as a team, either as cinematographer or director team.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We've kind of flipped roles back and forth. We're both editors, too.
What about acting yourselves? Do you do acting at all, either of you?
I have a minor role in the film, but that's mostly because of the character that I just had produced. I kind of wanted to be a certain way, so I played a minor character.
You kind of like
in
the
that.
stand-in for him?
No. I actually was the character.
You were?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, okay.
But normally I'm not behind the camera. I mean, ahead of the camera. I'm usually behind the camera
Usually
almost
behind
the
it.
entire
Okay,
time.
you prefer that.
Yes.
Okay, well, now, have either of you ever, prepared or done anything in a major film at all? Like, let's
Well, yes, actually.
talk about that.
well, it was back 2012. I actually was a part of a documentary that was filmed in Concord, New Hampshire.
Okay.
It was actually a big project.
A documentary about what?
It was about a woman who escaped from a mental hospital.
Wow.
And they didn't tell their family whatsoever, and then they found her 3 months later, deceased inside one of the homes that was abandoned.
Did you say deceased?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
She passed away.
She escaped and found herself in a home that was vacant over the period of a winter. I think she passed away in
goodness.
January
This really
of
happened,
2008.
huh?
This really happened, yeah.
Wow.
So she actually kept a diary, too, of each day. So they found the diary, the police gave it to the family, and then...
Must have been awfully cold. Oh,
Yeah.
it couldn't be just that one.
It was abandoned. There was no,
Of course.
no anything.
No heat. Right.
There was,
It's
there was,
New
I mean,
Hampshire.
it was a very horrifying story for what
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
to them. But he was one of the crew members on the film that was
Yeah.
Wow.
down there, so that was really cool. Was it 2012 or 13?
2012 or 13. It was in between.
Yeah.
Well, where did this air? I mean, this documentary.
It actually just got released. It's in a bunch of film festivals now.
Yeah, it's still currently
it
being
won't
released.
It is a fascinating story.
it is. It
Albeit
very
a tragic
is.
one, but still.
Yes.
It's called God Knows Where I Am.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, what did the family of this woman feel about, having a documentary made over it? I mean, they must have been quite distraught, or were they not distraught?
Yeah, it kind of made them relive the moment, and it was very touching for them. But also, it was nice to see that someone's actually talking about it because in the mental hospitals,
That's
it's like
true,
a big
yeah.
issue around the world and stuff like that. So
was the crux of the plot that she was mistreated in the hospital? Is that
it
why
was
she
more
got-
that she signed herself out, so it was kind of in
Well,
that way.
she signed herself out, so apparently she was competent enough to do that. Some
I-
people are and some aren't, from what I hear.
I think
Correct.
she was considered incompetent for a while. I
Okay.
remember correctly. I could be mistaken here, so don't quote me on it. But after she was considered competent, they didn't have to contact the family, so she signed herself out, and then they didn't know about it for the course of whatever it was, 6 or 7 months
Correct.
before.
They didn't know where she was.
Yeah, but I think that's how it went down, right?
Yeah.
Huh, that's incredible. That's an amazing story. So what did you? So you did cinematography on it, right?
No, I was a key PA,
You keep what's that?
production assistant.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in order for this to be a documentary about a deceased person, did you actually have someone? Did they have someone playing the role of this person while
Yes.
she was alive?
Yep.
Wow. It wasn't Jerry Collins, was it?
No.
She could pass off as a mental patient. I was in Shutter Island, and I got a role as a mental patient. It's the role I was born to play. I always tell people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I actually worked in a real mental hospital, and I worked with Scorsese directly.
Oh, really?
I thought I was a great actor too. And when the girl playing the nurse who escorted me across the floor in handcuffs and foot shackles told him that I was Sarah's cousin, he said, "Oh, I see the family resemblance." Now, how cool is that? But you did have you had a female actress who played this girl who escaped from a mental hospital and died of probably hypothermia in that house.
It was more starvation, they
Yeah.
said. In the
Well, it's
diary.
probably a combination.
She collected hundreds of apples off of the tree there to keep inside, and she just never left the building for whatever reason.
She thought that Prince Charming was coming to save her, but really, in reality,
That was
no
the
one.
hallucinogenic
Correct.
portion of her illness, I would say.
She could have gone across the street to the neighbors that could have easily have helped her, but she didn't.
Then they wonder what was going on. Didn't they notice something weird, thing happening at the house?
They did see at one point there was someone there, so they sent the homeowner to check it out. But
but I thought you said the house was abandoned.
It was, but
Well,
it
it's
was
abandoned,
for
but they were
sale.
still owned. It was just under for sale, yes.
So that's where they found she was deceased when the homeowner came over.
No, actually, she hid.
She
She was hit. Yeah, she hid up in the attic
This
where
is fascinating.
the
Wow.
raptors-
I know we got to talk more about what you guys doing, but I'm getting really.
Check
if
it
you-
out.
if you
It's
have
still a
time,
film
check it
festival.
out.
Yeah.
I'll see this film definitely. Okay. All right. Well, that's something. So this was a documentary. And this was shot all in Concord, New Hampshire.
Correct,
And,
yep.
and it took place in Concord as well. Okay. So all right. So this film you just finished. It was a hospital. It was a mockumentary. How was it a mockumentary? Were you making fun of like hospitals in general?
Oh, no, definitely not. We would never want to make fun of the hospital in general. It was more making fun of the characters we created that happened to work at this hospital. It's about a man named Dr. Henry Truscott, and he runs this corporation called the Balboa Health Clinic, and well, he doesn't run it properly, and everyone he has that works with him doesn't really know how to do anything as well.
Okay.
So you have
So he's
normal people.
incompetent.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
gotcha.
You have normal people coming in as clients or people that are having issues themselves, but yet they're not treating them properly. They're just kind of telling them what they don't want to hear or what they do want to hear, depending on the situation.
Okay.
And you have a receptionist named Smitty Johnson, who is basically, you're supposed to be friendly receptionist, but he's not very friendly. He's very ridiculous and kind
I
of
like it.
crazy and eccentric. And then you have a very depressed doctor named Dr. Alfred Stallone, played by Jacob Geddis, actually.
Okay.
And
he has that,
it's
he
just
has
kind
that
of
look about him. He looks like he's a genre guy.
yeah. They all did a phenomenal
many
job.
genres, yeah.
And Adam Griswold played Dr. Henry Truscott
Okay.
himself, and it was a great team, great crew. We had 53 people who worked on the film.
Wow.
So it was
Okay.
a great collaboration of everyone who was involved, and it went really by smooth. It was a total of 9 months after it finally released. Just this
Yeah, and I
past
saw
week,
that
so.
you had a lot of people at the, they were all, after you saw the premiere, you took them all out for Unos or something up there.
Yeah, we had about 20 or so people that
Yeah,
came to
I
the
would
Unos
say.
with us.
That was great.
Yeah.
Were they all the actors that were in the film? That were
No,
there?
not everyone could have made it. Like
I
you said, it was
understand,
about
right.
50. But for example, the actor that was in New York couldn't make it. My friend John McMahon from Florida could not make it.
Sure.
So on and so forth. Some people had other foreseen arrangements already made up before they could come. So it just was a great show for what it was. Though we had a great time.
I'm sure you did. That wouldn't have been in Hampton, New Hampshire, would it? No, was it?
No, it was in Concord, New Hampshire.
Okay. You guys are familiar? Are you guys familiar with Stephen Lee Day?
Last name's not familiar.
Okay, he's a New Hampshire filmmaker too, and he was a guest on my show a couple of years ago. How about Karen Colgill? Do you know who she is?
No,
It's amazing how these. How about Chris Dreyer?
that name I recognize.
Okay. Well, they're all film. Well, Karen Colgill is an actress. Now, 2 years ago, Stephen Lee Day, who's done about at least over 40 films now, he does a couple every year. He's not on IMDb. We're trying to get him to be on it because I actually had a role as a gangster in a film that he produced. And Karen, he brought himself into this. He's very, very shrewd when it comes to doing films on a low budget. On May 1st, 2015, we shot. All was shot at the Hampton Inn in Nashua. It was at the. I said Hampton, New Hampshire. I meant Nashua. That's not where you were at Uno's, right?
No, we were in Concord for all
Concord,
that.
right. But the thing is, it was a really cool deal because what it was I played a gangster, he played a gangster, Karen was my femme fatale, and he ended up killing both of us in the film. It was really cool. It was only 6 minutes long. But the problem was, because he's not on IMDb, I can't get an IMDb credit for being in it.
Why is he not on there?
I think he feels, because his real job, he's a fire inspector, and he goes back and forth all over the Northeast to inspect, the aftermaths of fires, and I guess he feels it's not really worth it. But it really would be, because it would certainly behoove his actors if he was.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was pretty cool because he and Karen were both guests on my show at different times in 2015. Karen was my first guest in 2015, and she's in LA right now. I guess she's making things happen out there. And he sent me a script. He FedExed it to me, I read it. It was pretty easy, and the way he was able to just get us up at the Hampton Inn to do the film. He said, make sure that when you come in, you don't tell anybody that you're doing a film. You're just going up to see a cousin in room 317, because otherwise there's going to be a problem with a copyright infringement. If the Hampton Inn people don't have an agreement from the headquarters that they can do a film there, we might get thrown out. But it's so, and the budget was pretty low. I mean, just for fake blood, and he cleaned up the room spotless, and it was pretty messy too. So the fact that he was able to do all that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Him
and Karen and everything. So a guy like that, you might want to, touch base with on Facebook just to see if you could, But you guys seem to have it going on. I mean, you guys are working with these huge budgets, and he's only working with maybe even $20 or $30 just to rent that room for the day for 3 hours.
That's impressive, actually.
It is, yeah, it is. But now you guys both feel that when it comes to doing a film, the budget isn't. You have to be willing to splurge, right? You can't you can't restrict the budget. It's important to get it done right. Okay.
No, it's definitely more important to get the film created properly to the way you're looking at it, or at least closest to what you envisioned in the first place. I mean, obviously, there's always has to be cuts for what you wanted to do, or things just don't work the way it is. But when it comes down to budgeting, you really need to make sure you're on top of that.
Right, so. I understand. Yeah. Okay. All right, well, let's talk about the other films you've done, both of you. Let's go back. Let's cover those, in the next time we have left. We got about a little over a half hour. Let's talk about, excuse me, as many of the projects that you can remember that you were both involved in, together or separately.
Right. Well, amongst quite a few, we've had one that was called The Second Life that was directed by Pedro Pimentel.
Right.
And we ended up...
Was that like one of those Exorcist-type movies?
No, he did a film like that called The Priest, though.
Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of. All right, we'll talk about The Second Life first.
The Second Life is a almost 40-minute movie. We were both the cinematographers for the film.
That's almost full length.
Yeah, it's pretty good length for what it is. It premiered actually earlier this year on May 1st, and we first were in contact with Pedro about it in March of last year, of 2016.
And Ron Young was in it too, right?
Ron Young, yes, he's in there. He was on one of the days. But over the course of like 3 or 4 months of pre-production, we finally got ready for production.
Okay.
We filmed in 4 different locations. One was at Kimball Jenkins in Concord, New Hampshire.
What's that?
It's a art museum there.
Oh, okay.
And it was a beautiful place, and we were there for 4 days. Okay. And then we had...
Why an art museum?
It was something that was close by to what we had, and it was also really fitting for what Pedro wanted it to be. Basically, the story revolves around a man who is living through his second incarnated life, and he's going to talk about it to a Monsignor.
Oh,
Monsignor Caldas is his name, played by Craig Capone.
Okay.
And he just has to retell him the story of what his second life was all about.
Okay, second life meaning what? Like his confession?
It's kind of a confession about what he's done in his past life.
Sins? Oh, past life? Okay.
Yeah, his past life.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all about like coming back as a wiser man rather than being someone who was just new to the world.
What I got to ask about now is, in the film, did you show highlights of like flashback highlights of his past lives?
Oh yes, it was played by Anthony Gaudette, one of his past lives.
Okay, I know. I'm trying to think. I'm just wondering if I've ever. I know who Anthony is, and I'm just wondering if I've ever talked to him, or I think I'd love to get him on the show. I don't think he's ever been on it, but I've had so many people come in here.
Right.
So, Anthony Gaudette. Why do I know? I know who he is. We're Facebook friends. I'm just trying to picture him. What does he look like?
Well, he has black hair.
I mean, how old is he? A young guy in his 20s?
Yes, he's
mid-20s.
Mid to late 20s, yeah.
Okay, so so he played one of the previous lives of this guy?
Yes. Well, Ron Young played the first life.
He played the current guy.
No. He played the very first life of the man.
Did he? Okay.
And he passed away in the story, and that's all I'll say about his character. I don't want to get too much, but as that progresses, you then see the second life happen, which is played by a few different actors, and Anthony Gaudette is the primary character for that life.
Okay.
And then in the next life is played by William Galadis.
Okay. Yep, I know the name.
Geddis, I should say. And we went on with that, and the story revolves around his story to Craig Capone's character, Monsignor Caldas.
Okay.
And it's a period piece film that takes place in the 1800s.
Okay.
And
well, wait a minute. All the lives, the previous lives took place in the 1800s, right? Or was the most current life taking place in the 1800s?
I believe they all take place in the 1800s over the course of like 50 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might be mistaken on the amount of years it is.
I understand,
but
it sounds pretty cool. Obviously, a retroactive piece.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
It's quite intense for what it is.
Sure, it is.
It was really great. I had a wonderful time on it. Jacob Geddis was on there too.
Yep.
We mentioned another name, and a friend of ours named Damian Ringwald was also on that
Okay.
film. He worked on it. We had quite a number of people, and after that film, we kind of created like a film family almost, or a film crew that a lot of us worked together on. And since then, actually all of us have gone together on numerous projects since then to work on films together.
Right. Okay.
And including a woman named Rebecca Howland, and then Jamie Newts, who is a fantastic makeup artist that we work with too. And you can take it on from here, but that's kind of the highlights I want to say about that film.
Yeah, ever since then, we've created a family. It used to be about 6 of us, and now we're up to like almost 25.
Well, we always say everything happens for a reason, and I say it in every show.
Yeah.
And this was like that was the film we did prior to the hospital film.
Actually, since we filmed the Second Life, we have filmed
Fair, whatever it is.
Yes, we filmed
about 4.
1,
3 or 4.
2, 3, 4. I think we filmed 4 or 5 films since we did the Second Life.
Okay.
The Second Life released this year, but we've done films since then.
Wow.
We did a horror film called Slink that my mother wrote and that he directed.
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was actually great. That was actually another start of right after the Second Life, pretty much.
Yeah, it was about a month, not even a month after we finished the Second Life, we started pre-production on this film, and we filmed it all in the course of like a 3-4 week period. Yeah. As far as like setup to filming, and then
and that was kind of the start into that genre, because a lot of us did drama, a lot of us did comedies before, but we never stepped into that horror genre, so it was kind of like a stepping stone for us.
Well, all right, we'll talk about give a little synopsis. I mean, Slink.
So a young boy is waiting for his father to come home for his birthday. It's his birthday, and the parents are divorced.
Right.
But you know, he hears the door ring, but it's the mother's boyfriend. He's not very fond of him whatsoever.
Okay.
And, you know, throughout the whole film, things start to happen that are very creepy. We don't know what's going on.
Okay.
And at the end, there's kind of a little surprise. I don't want to spoil it.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of suspense.
Correct.
Okay. And when you how about I bet you have great music.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a great track for that too. We have quite a few people to our disposal that we are composers as well. Jacob once again does composing for us too.
Well, if you ever want a really cool guy that can play music for a film, look no further than a guy named Papa Joe DeMaio. Do you know who he is? Joseph DeMaio. He's in Connecticut.
No,
but if you have a good project, he'll probably come up and he's one of my Facebook friends. He was a guest on my show. I was in a film that he played the soundtrack for.
Nice.
Oh, really?
With a guy named for the life of me, I can't even pronounce his name. It's a long Iranian name. He was a guest on my show, Roland Kazadenzia or something like that.
Okay.
You know who he is?
No,
he's from
nice to say okay.
Yeah, he lives in Brockton, where I live, in Brockton, Mass.
Okay.
And he created a film last year called What's in a Fortune, and Joe DeMaio played the soundtrack for that. I was in one scene. It was like a college frat party. Joe and I were the oldest ones there. I mean, I'm in my 50s, he's in his 60s, but you know, we felt pretty young and vibrant in that film. It was pretty cool. So I'm just saying it. But it sounds like you got a lot of people. So you actually have people that play music instead. You don't just buy uncopyrighted music. You have people that play music.
No, yeah, we have our own composers we work with and
Wow.
everything. I know a few people. Another one that's out of Florida too. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Are either of you guys musically inclined at all? I'm just wondering.
He's more involved in it than I am.
I used to when I was much younger.
Well,
I
also
kind of
be
lost
sing,
everything.
play the music, play an instrument.
I used to do the drums and the
Okay.
guitar, but not
play
anymore.
drums.
I pick it up and I kind of lost it all.
I understand.
But-
You guys ever been in a band? Never been in a band or anything? Or?
No,
not
neither
me,
one of
no.
us.
Neither
have.
one of you. Okay.
No.
Okay. Have you ever been like interviewed on New Hampshire television?
Yes.
Okay. Like, I mean, where have you been interviewed up there?
On one show called On the Marquee with Barry Silverman.
Okay. That was
Stillman. I'm sorry. Yes.
no. Was that a cable show?
Yes, it was.
Anything on like Channel 9 or WIN or WNDS?
I don't know what channel it was. Do you know?
MUR is
WMUR, you were interviewed once. For
Yeah, I was
Bobcat,
interviewed.
Protect the
Yeah, we had a
Bobcat.
documentary we did this past year, and I was interviewed on that station.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's called Protect the Bobcat, New Hampshire Wildlife Story.
Okay.
This past year, they had an act, I guess you could say, where they were trying to get hunters more involved in hunting bobcats again, but they were only selling up to 50 tickets towards it, or whatever you want to call it, licenses for it, I should say. And we just thought it was kind of outrageous the way they were doing it, but we tried to make an unbiased documentary about the whole situation, and we went for it.
So they interviewed you. Speaking for myself, I'm a vegan, and I feel it's terrible. I hate hunting, and I hate eating. I don't eat meat. I've been a vegetarian more than half my life, 35 years.
Well, good
now.
for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel great. But good for you for bringing that to light, though.
Yeah, no, and it helped the whole process. And by the time that the actual committee came together to talk about what was going to happen, they ended up going against it. And because of a lot of them saw the documentary.
That's great.
So we had some great people involved in that project. The only 3 people who really did the work on it, though, were the 2 of us and my mother, actually.
Okay.
She was the one who's the director for that film. But we had Ernest Thompson.
Okay.
He was one of the interviewees in
I
the
like
film.
the fact that you're naming people I've never heard of, because then I'm hoping.
Oh, you
maybe
don't know Ernest Thompson?
I don't think I have, but that's why someday I might like to get these people on my show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's an Academy Award winner.
Oh,
from,
he is?
On Golden Pond. He wrote the
Oh, I
film.
know that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what his work is.
Well, you worked with him.
Yes, he lives nearby me, actually.
Wow, on Golden Pond. That was with Henry Fonda.
Yeah. Well,
Wow. Well, what did he do? Well, was he one of the writers?
he is the writer.
He is the writer.
Yeah, that's what we want to know.
Love to get him on the show.
Yeah, he's won a lot of great stuff. He's a good guy. But anyways, he's one of our interviewers in that film. We
Okay.
also had a woman named Lindsay Hamrick, who
Okay.
was she's involved in the Humane Society of New Hampshire, I believe it
Yeah.
is.
Great.
And we had a few others involved in the film too as interviewees, and it was a 16-minute film, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then the second life was 40 minutes, and most of our other films are between 10 to 15 minutes.
Right, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're branching out and you want to make more. So what are your goals for, like, his summer's coming, what are your goals for the summer of 2017?
Oh boy,
I mean,
just more
anything-
and more films.
More films.
We're just gonna keep going.
We have 3 potentially in the works right now. So
3 at once, right?
we have 2 that would be back to back, and then one that's the feature that he was mentioning earlier.
Okay, well, let's go back to the films that you've already done. See if
Okay.
we can name as many as you can.
Well, we have a film we just did called Liam that he was the director of. It's a horror comedy that
Who was the director of? You were, okay.
Yeah.
And it's a horror comedy that we did for a film race at filmracing.com. It's a corporate competition online. We're actually one of the finalists, and it's airing tonight, so we'll find out who
Where
wins
is
that.
where are these films airing?
It's
this
in
one's
Georgia, Atlanta.
Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay,
I should
because
say.
I couldn't see. Could I see it on TV on my computer or not? Probably
They
not.
might be screening it online. I'm not sure.
Okay,
But if not, it will be going public shortly after that. But we'll find out who the winner is after that.
that's
so,
awesome.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about other films that you can remember.
Let's see, we did one that was another 48. It was called Sorry Boss.
Okay, sorry, boss.
Sorry Boss. Yep.
It's a fun comedy.
It was a comedy. I actually got to be one of the actors in it. That
Let's talk about
I didn't
that.
really have an option, but
Okay.
it was still fun to do.
well, with a film race, we don't have much choices. When it
Yeah,
comes to
there was
that,
actually
so.
only 5 people that were part of that.
This was 2.5 years ago. I
Two
think.
and a half. Wow.
Was it that long ago? No, it was Christmas 2014 or 15.
I think it was 15.
Okay.
Okay, so it's still been a while. Though.
Right, it's been a little over. So it's been not about a year and a half ago.
I guess it was a year and a half
Yeah,
ago.
it's 20. Right. Okay. So what did you play in that?
I was actually one to robbers.
Robbers. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was
Well, we
a
probably should
robbery.
tell them what the film is too.
So the synopsis is they're robbers trying to steal.
Bank robbers.
No,
Not bank robbers, but they're after a ring, a very expensive ring.
Jewelry heist.
jewelry heist,
Okay,
pretty
got
much.
it, okay.
And this woman named Rebecca, I believe that was the name.
I
that
think
we
her name
picked.
was Rebecca. Yeah.
And,
no, Rebecca was her friend. What was her name? I forgot the top of my head. Anyways, the
been a
point is,
while.
it's been a while since we've seen it as well.
But they're trying to steal the ring, so they're
Okay.
trying to do it. But they're
Stealing it from where? A jewelry store?
a woman off the side of the
off the
street.
side of the
Oh!
street. So they have some intel.
Okay.
But,
you have some intel?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's
Their
that?
friend Rebecca is actually the one that kind of
Wait a
like,
minute. You mean what's in? You mean like plotting the
like
heist?
a spy.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Pretty
All right,
much.
go on.
They got some information on their subject, I guess you could say.
But
Okay.
one of the robbers, who played Anthony Gaudet, is the other robber.
Okay, right.
He wasn't the brightest one.
Right.
In the spectrum, so he actually instead of getting a really fast car, he got an automatic minivan
Oh.
as the
it's
getaway
part of the
car.
comedy. So
got
they
it.
have a very slow-moving car that's coming up
Kinda
to
like the OJ
kidnap her.
chase.
But
Correct,
the
yeah.
funny part about this scene, though, that we're referring to is that the woman, Julia Wagner, she doesn't acknowledge the fact that she's going to be kidnapped. She's just strolling along the street like nothing's going on, talking on her phone, and then you see this very slow-moving
Slow-moving.
car
Wow.
come up to her, and then they just throw her into the car, and she's still not reacting to anything going on.
That is awesome. Is that who played her? Julia Wagner?
Julia Wagner, yes.
Okay, sounds like a great actress.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun to work with.
Very comical, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, she was also on Dr. Truscott too.
Yeah,
So
pretty much a lot
okay.
of the people we've mentioned today actually were involved in Dr. Truscott, the Balboa Health Clinic. The
Okay, that's good.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, well, yeah, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If your actors work in one film, they'll work in other films. too.
Right.
Correct.
It's just finding out where they fit best for the
Yeah,
film.
exactly,
But we do
okay.
like to branch out and meet new people. That's why we got Adam Griswold involved.
That's why
as
I'm
Dr.
here.
Truscott.
You meet me today.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, okay. All right. Well, let's talk about some other films. What else you got on them? It sounds like you got a whole plethora of stuff.
pretty much.
We did a fun little comedy short. It's not exactly a short film. It's only like a minute long, called Changing Lenses, which was pretty fun. And the whole premise of that was it was a crew getting together, talking about a scene they were filming, and they messed up the previous scene by not having audio rolling. So they say, all right, switch to an 85mm lens.
Okay.
And then we switch out the lens, and then everything goes black as the lens cap's still on.
Oh, wow.
And then you hear all these amazing sound effects that are going on, making it seem like this is really.
Does the audience
going
understand what's
great.
happening? It sounds to me like it might be a little confusing, but it's...
No, I think it's pretty clear because you
Okay.
see that everything going on, then you see them physically change the lens.
Okay, oh, I see.
It's a
okay.
one-take shot, and then you
Yeah,
find
but
out
you
where
see
they end
them.
up.
You
so.
see them accidentally putting the camera cover on the lens while it's. While,
No, they switched the lens.
Well, why does the scene go dark though?
Because when they switched the lens cap was already on the lens they put on the camera. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
I see. So they don't. Okay, I didn't. I've
They
never
take
heard
the
of
lens off
but-
that was being used, and they put another one on that already had the lens.
Oh,
on.
I see.
This is a part of the joke.
I understand. I
Yeah.
get. No, I know. I get it.
It's
so,
fun.
So you figured out a way to you make it subtly clear to
Yeah.
the audience. All right,
Yeah.
that's great.
A bunch of us got together to create that idea. It was the idea first originated from Jonathan McMahon again, the person in Florida. So
Got it. Okay. Now, Jonathan McMahon's in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how often do you guys collaborate? If he lives 1,100 miles away.
Well, he and I have worked together. We went to college together.
Right, but that
So-
was you. But you. Now there's a big distance between you. So how does
Right.
that work when you?
Well, he does his own work. I do my own work with
Okay.
John and everyone else here. But sometimes we'll collaborate and we'll bring him out here, or I'll go down there. or
oh,
whatever
okay,
the case may
wow.
be. I just went and saw him a couple weeks ago too.
We bring them on for the bigger projects.
Yeah.
Right,
So
that's
like
great.
Dr. True Scott was kind of like their childhood type of thing. So
Yeah,
they wanted to bring
it was
him
based
on.
on Dr. Seuss is based on a bunch of characters we created together when we were younger, and he was
Okay.
involved. He knew about that show, so I brought him on for this. And it was just a lot of fun to do.
I'm sure it was. Okay, well, other films you've done. Let's see. Whatever you can think of.
Life Lessons. That was
Yep,
that one.
life lessons.
Life Lessons was about a little girl who is being mistreated by her family, and then you find out. Well, I guess I would be spoiling the film if I said too much about it.
If you don't want to say too much.
I'll just say that it's all about how she's being treated in her family.
all you got to say
and
is it a comedy or a drama?
it's a drama.
It's a drama.
family
Okay,
drama.
that's fine. That's you don't
Yeah.
have to
We
say
did
anymore. That's cool.
Santa's Promise was kind of a drama in a way. It was
Drama
more
comedy.
drama
Dramedy.
comedy. Yeah.
The way you're describing these films, it sounds like they'd be great on Lifetime or Sundance.
Life Lessons and Santa's Promise are definitely more like a Lifetime or Hallmark setup, I guess you could say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. When it comes to writing, do you guys like brainstorm together?
Well,
a lot?
sometimes we get inspiration from other people who have worked with us, or
Okay.
we get our own ideas and we kind of make it ourselves.
Of course, your mother's a
or
writer
my
too,
mother will
yeah.
write the script too. She's written a lot of scripts for us, and she's done a lot of wonderful projects with us and
Cool.
everything. She's also a producer, and we have a studio location up in New Hampton, New Hampshire, where
Okay.
we've had films come to us to be filmed there.
That's awesome.
The Second Life had some scenes filmed there too. Liam was entirely filmed there. Life Lessons was filmed there.
Okay.
So we have a bunch of different things we all collaborate with to get what we need to go from there.
Okay.
But like I said, we also branch out and go to other states for films. We've did one.
Tell me have you been in L.A. or New York to do anything there?
I've been to New York for film, but not for LA though.
Okay, what did you do in New York?
Well, when I went to New York, it was more based around the documentary stuff too.
Okay,
Yeah.
what kind of documentary?
It was the Protect the Bobcat stuff. The
Same
Protect the
thing?
Bobcat,
Oh,
yeah.
really? Wow.
Well, the reason why was we had to get additional B-roll. So.
Okay. What is B-roll exactly?
That's bonus material, basically. It's like added on content. So when you see something like an interview, for example,
Right.
you then see footage on top of that kind of.
Oh,
like,
I see what you mean. You
is
add
when-
on to something that you've done. Like it could be a different location, but it's...
Let's say they're talking
you
about a
segue
scenic
one
place.
to another or something?
Yeah,
one scene
correct.
To another? Okay.
Let's say they're talking about Mount Washington or something.
Okay.
And then you just see Mount Washington while they're talking about it. So it's this footage that overlays the content underneath it.
Wow. Oh, I see.
that makes sense.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to... I guess you guys are pros at editing too, right?
That's another one of our passions is editing.
Yeah, of
yes,
course, yeah. Because I couldn't edit to save my life. I've done it. I mean, at the old station, but usually my editing was like we go to an in-house interview like with Bill McLean. I'd set the camera up. I'd hit the play record button, and then I'd do the interview. I'd come back to the TV station. I'd put the graphics in, and I'd snip off the beginning where I hit the play button, and the end where I hit the play button. So
Yeah.
that was pretty much it. But that's good. I mean, so you learned to edit at your college pretty well, I assume, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's not something. It's not like riding a bike. You have to. It's not like you do it once and you got it for life. You got to do it regularly. It's pretty
Oh
tricky.
yeah.
Editing, I started when I was 15, but I started working on more high-end programs, or professionally, I should say, by the time I was 19
Wow.
or 18, actually.
Yeah, and ever since then it just keeps building up. The new programs you're gonna have to start
You
from
have to
scratch.
keep up. You have to
pretty
keep
much,
up
yeah.
with it, right?
Well, yeah, if you don't keep up, let's say you
It's obsolete.
skip a few integrations between one to the other, whether it becomes obsolete or not, if you just wait a few years,
Yep.
Well, you're going to have to learn 500 million things that you didn't already know because of those few models you miss in between.
But you guys are good at picking up new stuff when you need to.
Well, yeah, we try to keep
Wow.
it up to date all the time.
No, I know,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's incredibly
But,
very professional.
actually, do you want to talk about some of the stuff we just do for our normal life basis, for what we do for work outside of films?
Oh yeah, along with films, we do real estate, we do weddings, we do commercials, music videos, pretty much anything you can think of.
All right, let's talk about some of the music. Have you done any music videos for any cool bands?
We did some locally. I did one. He's from Franklin as well. He's a rapper. He just
Okay.
it was for a contest. It was
Okay.
a one-take contest. We worked on that recently. I think it's still being judged. I'm not sure. We haven't heard much from it.
Right, okay.
But some local bands have come to us. We're still in the works. We're trying to get them on and stuff.
Yeah, we have
like
one
that
that we might work on this summer too.
Yep.
So
Great.
for like weddings and real estate, though, that's one of
When you
our
say
other
real
highlights.
estate, you're talking about video work for real estate,
Yes.
right?
Correct, yep.
Okay, you don't sell real estate.
No, no, no.
Oh, okay.
We, I guess you could say we're virtual tour videographers.
Okay.
We'll film locations between drone, camera work, and then also photograph the houses too.
That's awesome.
I've filmed personally over 200 something homes, so that's why you've probably filmed like
Probably
3 or 4.
doubled that, yeah.
So when you do that, you have someone narrate the tour of the house, right?
No, it's just to music usually.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
they just show off the film, because the thing is, you don't want to be too creative for that. And when I say that, I don't mean you don't want it to be creative, but you don't want it to be kind of like a lot of amazing shots. You'd rather be able to showcase the house itself. So you're trying to do.
So basically, you want to
tilts
show
and
you want the
pans.
house to you want the house to sell itself, and
Correct.
you have the subtlety in you have music, right?
Yes,
Of
it's just a
course.
subtle video. In a
Right, I
sense.
understand. No, I totally get it. I watch. I like looking at real estate. If I'm looking at, I love looking at pretty houses and hearing
Yeah.
good music, and then
So-
and then I assume the graphics of the amount of money, the cost that the realtor wants for it.
Right.
I got it. No, I know. I've seen that.
Yeah, and then we do a lot of photographic work too. For
Sure.
that. So
You
a
mean
lot
like
of
still
promotional
photography
content.
as well.
Yes, that's
Oh,
what I mean.
okay. Wow.
Yeah, we do both cinematography and still photography.
Okay, so you're multifaceted like that.
Basically, anything camera, we try to focus on.
Okay. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any like student films in the Boston area, like say at Emerson, for instance? Ever assisted on any projects
I have not done
there?
any student films locally, no.
Okay.
Did you?
I have not, no.
See, I was wondering. You see, that's I was thinking. You guys are from this area, and yet to go to and you went being that Emerson is probably one of the finest film schools in the country. You picked Full Scale and Full
Full
Sail.
Sail, yes. I considered Emerson, but I didn't feel their program compared to what I was looking to at Full Sail.
Interesting.
The thing with Emerson, it's more about, well, at least my understanding of it's more behind the screen, looking at the books and the material, learning the material of everything about filmmaking, whereas Full Sail is more hands-on material itself, looking at the cameras, the lenses, the lights, the setup,
Okay.
building locations,
and plus,
making entire
Emerson's probably better
sets.
for actors as opposed to people behind
It's
the
probably
scenes.
more, well, I don't know about acting or not because I'm not as familiar with what their program is, but I do know it's more of a studying school than it is actually hands-on material. That's
Wow.
why I chose Full Sail.
Okay. Does Full Sail have are there courses you need to take that like history or?
Oh yeah, you still have.
Oh, you still have to have the
prerequisite
electives.
courses, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah,
the
you still have to
mandatory
do that.
electives.
Yeah, they still had math, they still had history,
Sure,
they had
right,
everything else you
okay.
can think of too.
Okay, but you're okay with that, and somehow
yeah.
it's probably is incorporated into what you do anyway.
Well, it's more or less, yes. All of it would be still incorporated in what we do for a daily basis. So,
Have you got-
same with you.
Have you guys ever shot a TV commercial?
Yeah, we have.
Talk about that, please.
Well, we've worked alongside Better Homes and Gardens for
Okay.
some of their work with testimonial, promotional content.
Okay.
We've done it for a few other corporations too. We worked with Tiny Houses for out of the New Hampshire Lottery. They did
okay.
videos with that. We've done some other commercial-based content. You did one with your school too.
Yep.
LRCC.
Okay.
You made one for them. So it's just kind of different amounts of projects we've worked on through different clients over the years.
Wow,
So-
that's awesome. Okay, so these are the things that people can contact you to do if they want them.
Right,
TV
correct.
commercials, real estate, music videos,
Right.
and films as well.
Like, as much as I love films, that's more of our passion, I love doing all this other work too. It's a great source of material and connection building too. We have a great time doing it regardless of what it is. I mean, just kind of being behind the camera, having the chance to edit is kind of what we enjoyed the most for production work. So it's not always just about making the best film, it's also about what can we do in other ways too. That's why we enjoy doing all this other work as well.
Wow.
So-
Have you guys ever considered possibly teaching this stuff to other people?
We've
I've thought about it quite some time. I don't know how.
You guys are
further
really
down
good
the
at getting your
road.
point across. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It makes it much easier for me.
I used to work at a day camp back in my hometown,
Okay.
and they actually wanted me to come. At the time, I was kind of like busy doing my own stuff.
Okay.
But maybe further down the line, I might do that.
Yeah, you teach the kids about how. Now, a couple of years ago, I had a couple of young ladies, very precocious girls, probably a little younger than you two, but they were in high school, or they were like 17 or 18, and they had this company called Fountain of Youth Productions, where they teach children the fundamentals of filmmaking.
Oh, that's really cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were written up in the Boston Globe in the living arts section.
Right.
Well, my show was too, by the way. I was just saying no, but I figured I'd throw that in for effect. But yeah, I mean, they do amazing. I mean, these are two young girls that have founded their own company that are, that were still in high school.
That's awesome.
It is, and they were both homeschooled too, so they didn't have to.
Oh, they were homeschooled?
Oh yeah. They live in the town of Sharon, which is a very nice upscale town, not too far from here, maybe 20 minutes, a couple of towns away. So whenever I think of teaching, and they teach little kids, and they're not. I mean, right now they're probably in their 20s, but when I interviewed them, they were themselves not much past middle school age either.
Wow.
Because they were like 17 at the time. That, and to be that young and to be able to handle that is pretty impressive. Obviously.
That is.
And they were actresses as well.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And okay, well, when it comes to like networking on Facebook, do you do a lot of reaching out to people on Facebook to get?
Definitely, that's how a lot of those connections I told you about earlier we
Right.
made. We've reached out to individual people. We've sent friend requests, talked to them individually, talked about projects we're going to be working on in the future, looked for actors, for models, so on and so forth.
In fact, now that you mentioned it, I shared it. You remember this? You were looking for a female model. One of you?
Yes, we have
I shared that yesterday when I saw it.
Oh, you did? Well, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
We have a photo shoot we're planning to work on in the near future with Jamie Newts, who's the makeup artist we work with quite often. And she has a certain type of photo shoot she would like to do about, I guess you could just say like wedding photography,
Like a bridal
bridal
thing,
stuff.
yeah.
So you need a nice looking girl in a wedding dress.
Pretty much, yeah.
Either a wedding dress or we might do bridesmaids as well. It's more based on what Jamie wanted to do for it. So I was just reaching out.
You've never seen any unattractive bridesmaids, so I'm sure you'll find. Yeah, well, has anyone responded so far?
Yeah, we've had a few people contact us.
Good for you. Good. That's awesome. Well, I'd love to get them on the show. I love having pretty girls on. I have one coming up next week.
Right.
Oh, that's I mean, it's good to have guys that know their craft, but it's also good to have models. Everything for ratings.
Right.
You always say, Okay. Well, let's see. So, I guess, now you say you got 3 films in the works right now.
Right.
Okay. But when you say in the works, you mean the scripts have already been written?
2 of them, the script's been written. The other one's still in pre-production for writing the script, and then the other 2 have gone into full pre-production.
Okay. Full pre-production. Now, how do you incorporate that with all your other stuff?
Well, basically, with full pre-production, what I mean by that is we're scouting locations now, looking for actors. We're going to start doing auditions for, and then after that, we have to work on the budget, and then lock in locations, and then get all the wardrobe, the props set up, get the composer set up, and then just kind of finalize dates. And then at that point, we'll start up with production, go through the production days we have. Once everything listed off of the shot list or of our schedule, with the unit production manager, we'll go from there, and then we'll go in the post-production phase.
Wow! So that's it. So you guys are so organized. You know exactly what order you need to do what. And you wouldn't change it from anything because you know what works, right?
Yeah, no, it's a format that's familiar with most films out there, and it's one we try to stick to very clearly and very
concisely.
uniform, I guess you could say. We try our best to make sure we do everything organized as well.
Of course.
I love to be organized.
Sounds like you guys are just geared for organized.
I guess I'm partially OCD, I would say. So.
You're partially which?
OCD, I would say.
I'm totally OCD. So, and yet I'm not as. Yet everything I do, I wing it, basically. Okay.
I try to make sure everything's organized for us anyway.
No, yeah, of course.
He does a great job of it too, though. It's not just me.
Yeah, I mean, ever since the very first film we did, we just started learning and learning and learning. So it's kind of now like a mental process that just is automatic for us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so much has come together in the past over 10 years now since we first started being interested in working in films, and it's such an amazing process, and it's so inspiring and imaginative that we just love it so much, and it's great to collaborate with people who have the same ambition and the same passion in the future.
There's so many of them now.
Work together.
Would you ever plan to go out to Hollywood eventually?
It's definitely consideration. I would
it's still in our minds.
But we are feeling comfortable where we are at the moment. Not saying that comfortable is the best solution, because comfortable just means that we need to have more to do.
Right.
But we want to be more.
You don't want to be
challenged and have-
comfortable. You want.
No, we want to keep going. But I
Right.
will say, for the time being, it's probably better suited for what we're doing at the moment. But within the years to come, we definitely see ourselves going elsewhere. At least at the very least, working on projects that are not local to here,
Right.
whether it's another country or going to Hollywood or
Sure.
Atlanta. I can't tell you that because I don't know yet. But
Right.
that's definitely down the line for us at some point.
Okay. Wow. That is incredible. Well. Okay. So when it comes to like writing scripts, do you I think I mentioned this before. Do you like set aside time for writing, or do the ideas just come flying in?
Well, here's the problem with us. We don't know what normal day schedules are. What I mean by that is we kind of work nonstop to a
Of
point
course.
where we don't even realize the time of the day it is. So,
I understand.
there will be some days that I'll be up till like 3 in the morning writing something or working on something, and that's easily said for yourself too.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes from, with our kind of type of work, we drive a lot. So even just
Sure.
driving, we talk and we're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had this kind of scene go with this kind of scene, and then just it somehow creates a script and we just write it down, and then it just goes from there on.
So you literally, you could be on the highway heading on I-95 down to like say Bridgeport, Connecticut, and suddenly you get an idea, so you pull over and start writing.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or
We'll
we have
talk
the
about it too,
passenger
yeah.
just
The
write it
passenger will
down.
usually write down.
Oh, I see.
jot
So
down
you're
the
right.
concept.
You drive together, so
Yeah.
that makes it easy. So it means you don't have to stop what you're doing. The person driving can keep driving.
Yep.
The person writing can start writing, and then there's no hazard to worry
No.
about at all between.
No.
The two of us together work very well together,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then we just kind of keep collaborating on so many different things besides just normal work for us as well as films. And this is all we do for our life at this point. We really love it, so
That's
it's
great.
Yeah.
And I assume that your family members are all very. I know your mother is, but everybody else in your family is very supportive.
My
as well?
father's very supportive. My girlfriend's actually going into a very similar industry to this as well.
What is that?
Well, she's studying media and communications right now, so she wants to be an editor.
Oh, okay.
So
You mean
she's-
a film editor?
Film and or something local. She might do news. I'm not sure what
okay.
really her. She hasn't decided what way she wants to go, but editing in general she
Sure.
really loves. And she's worked with us on films too.
Okay.
His girlfriend's helped us with films too, and
Yeah.
actually with Slink.
Either
she helped
of them
write
do
it,
acting
yeah.
at all?
They appeared, I think, in one or two, but nothing acting-wise.
My
just
girlfriend works
extras.
on like plays and everything. She's
Okay.
done a few other production before.
Now, speaking of plays, have you done plays at all?
I did plays when I was younger.
You were
Like I
younger,
was
yeah.
physically in them,
That's when
but
you
since
started.
then we've filmed some actually too.
Right. You've done what? Okay.
We filmed them as well. Yeah.
You filmed them,
plays.
okay, yeah, but yeah, I mean that's not something you would. Have you ever filmed anyone else's play before? I mean,
Yeah,
just for
that's
your-
what I'm saying.
Okay, I see what you mean. All right.
No, we've been hired by different
Wow.
play places to film the location. Yeah.
Do you have a name for your company?
My company name is Rolling Shutter Productions.
Oh, that's right. Yep, that's right. And when you're both part of the corporation. Of
Yeah,
Rolling
but
Shutter.
I also have my own, which is JG Film and Photo.
Okay.
Yeah, we both have individual companies, but the thing is, and the reason why I do that is we can collaborate separately as well as together
I understand.
universally, and we also have outputs for different people that come through.
Wow.
So.
That's awesome. And are you ever looking for more people?
All the time, we're always trying to collaborate with others and try to get more connections built up to whether it's for films or work, whatever the case
Okay.
may be. Yes,
Wow.
definitely.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? That's the amount of time we have left.
Oh,
Oh,
a few
wow.
more minutes
Minute
left.
go by.
Flies by, huh?
So in the time we have left, what I'm going to ask you guys to do, give a few shouts out to people because so many people. And you can say Jacob and Pedro, but people that you mentioned, if you want to say hi to everyone, because we're all going to see this. And
Right.
And I'll also ask you to tell anybody if you had a good time. Please tell everybody about Topic Time. Word of mouth is how I get guests in here. And I'd love to have more people, the people you mentioned, that Anthony Gaudette. I know who he is. I mean, the more we talked about him, the more I keep thinking I probably invited him on to be. I probably invited him to be on.
He's a wonderful actor. So.
No, I'm sure he is. I know he is. That's why I've invited him. I'm sure I've seen him in something. I
Yeah.
just couldn't because there's so many people. I got 21. I now have the most Facebook friends I've ever had. I'm up. You guys probably have more, but I have 2,108 Facebook friends now.
Oh, wow.
I have-
2,105 actually. I'm sorry.
I don't even know how many I have right now. You're over
I haven't.
3,000.
I know people
Am
sending
I?
me fresh
Yeah.
Wow.
Facebook friend requests constantly,
Yeah.
which is good. So, because what I do is I try networking people together, and I, on the other hand, will look for if I find anyone looking into acting. Are you guys members of Hollywood East, by the way?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay. With Erica Derrickson I interviewed her. I did an in-home interview with her several years ago at her apartment when she was living in Malden, Mass. And it was great. And it's so great that she founded that. 6,000 members now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize how many members were on there.
What's that?
I didn't even realize that.
I know. Well, there's a lot of. That's a great thing about the industry around here. All right. Well, it looks like there's 2 minutes to go. Give a few shouts out, and then we'll wrap it up and do the
Oh, well,
family if you want, dogs, cats, whatever.
I would like to give a shout out to my wonderful family and my wonderful girlfriend, Elizabeth. Thank you. You guys have been super supportive. Also, my friends, John, Brenda, Anthony, Jacob, Pedro, Damien. There's so many that I can think of.
That's cool.
There's too many to even think about.
The biggest thing is almost everyone he just said is also everyone that I would be saying too, besides my girlfriend, Kate Corwin, and her family, and then obviously my family as well. And
Okay.
It's just great. We've had so many different connections built up over the years.
so many.
Well, I hope you guys had a good time with me.
Oh, it was awesome. Yes,
I
thank
did,
you.
yes.
Appreciate it. It was an honor to be on.
And I hope that, I try to cover everything that I can with all my guests, and it's all, and you guys made it very easy, very
thank you.
interactive people, both of you, and believe me, I'm always concerned when I come in here that the people I have might not be as interactive, and I have to work too hard, but you made it easy.
Well, thank you for having us on the show. It was a lot of fun. So.
And on that note, are you ready to, like we did at the beginning?
Oh, yeah.
That's how we wrap
Sure.
it up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, we're about to wrap it up tonight. Hope to see you next week. Another great guest. Take care. Have a good one.
There's no music yet.
I'm still going to dance. Pedro, this is for you.
And Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
And Damien.
Oh, yeah. And Elizabeth.
There you go.
And Kate. Ooh, jazz hands.
Oh, yeah.
What am I doing right now?